only took 103 chapters, to be honest, for Asta to, what's the word? Asta to confess his feelings for Noelle. Now, I wouldn't say really confess because they said like. So, for example, you can say like to anyone, to be honest. Like, I can go up to a female and be like, I like you, you're pretty nice. But it doesn't always necessarily mean I like you. Like, that kind of thing. So, obviously Noelle's, I can imagine next chapter Noelle's gonna be like a frenzy. Noelle's gonna be like, what did you mean? Did you mean like or like? Stuff like that. That's gonna be pretty hilarious to see, I'm not gonna lie. But aside from that, this chapter of Black Clover, you know, was a calm chapter. And I think, maybe we kind of need this. Maybe. This arc, this festival arc, you know, something chilled. We need something chilled to read sometimes, you know? Like, it doesn't always have to be action 24/7. You don't always have to see Asta swinging his sword 24/7. So, I'm not gonna lie, this chapter is kind of like a delight to me. When I read it, yeah, it was pretty cool. Not a lot of things happened in it. It made me like, wow, did you read that? Like, that's crazy. No, it didn't make me think like that, but I did enjoy it. I did have a couple of chuckles, like, who said that? I think it was Kahona, when she was just like, oh, now it's Tsundere, and I can't remember what she said, but it made me laugh. It did make stuff like that. That made me chuckle. You see what I mean? So yeah, I'm kind of excited for what this arc's gonna hold. I think it's gonna be pretty cool just to see the development to what's actually gonna happen, because we see at the end of the chapter, Captain of the Blue Rose Tree or something like that. I can't remember specifically what the name is called. I believe it's Blue Rose Tree. That's what the squad is called. But we'll see more stuff like that, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see. I'm more intrigued to, you know, Captain of the Blue Rose. I'm more intrigued to see what she can do. And bear in mind, she has the hots for Yami. So Yami's here as well, so maybe we can get a little bit of history on them. Like, why did this crush first develop and stuff. Get more information on this captain as well. She really looked like that girl at the start of the series. What is it? It was the girl. It was the arc where Mary got kidnapped. That girl. She had like red hair, I believe. She really looked like her. That's what at first I thought. Now the way that she was described, Captain of the Blue Rose, they were saying like, oh, is this person a noble? Now I'm wondering, I'm intrigued. Maybe this captain is a noble. If so, what house is she a noble on? And it seems like this chapter was really addressing, to be honest, like the royals and the peasants and all that kind of stuff. We know Black Clover. We know that if you're like a peasant, if you don't have a lot of magic, you're discriminated against. There's a lot of social issues, social injustice in this series, you could say. And it's interesting with Noelle. I really am liking what Noelle did in this chapter, because Noelle is just like, hang on, yes, I am a royal, the greatest magic ability, but that doesn't give me the right to look down on you people. So I really did like that, and I'd love it if she could, you know, confront that to the rest of her siblings of the House of Silver. That would be pretty cool, because we know that her brothers, one of them is so stuck up. I can't remember that one's name. But yeah, the House of Mercury, the Mercury captain, he is stuck up. So yeah, like, I'm going to be intrigued on that. But yeah, this chapter was pretty cool. Nothing else kind of happened other than the double date. It seemed like the double date was just a hoax, basically, for Kahona just to fish out Asta's thoughts. She was just intrigued onto, you know, Asta, basically, if Asta had feelings for Noelle. So, I'm kind of intrigued how they're doing this. Although Black Clover, yeah, may be cliche at times, it's kind of cool that this is kind of getting developed now, because if you look at some of the shonen series like Bleach or all that kind of stuff, it seemed like it was always implicit. Like, they never ever delved into the romance. But if we're delving into it kind of early on in the series, it's pretty cool, because I think some of the mangakas in Weekly Shonen Jump are realizing that it's not the best formula for to have it basically be implicit throughout the whole series. Have people just theorizing and creating fan art and all that kind of stuff, and then at the end of the series, on the last chapter, to do a time skip and then everyone's together. I think the mangakas are realizing that maybe that's not the best option. So it's pretty cool if they are fleshing out these emotions now. They're kind of doing a similar thing in Boku no Hero. I know I compare Boku no Hero and Black Clover a lot, but they're kind of like two partner series. They kind of started at the same time. They ain't got anything to do with each other, but they started at the same. They were from the same generation, you could say. They were from the same phase that came out, got released into Weekly Shonen Jump basically near to the same time. I think just a couple of months within each other, I think. So yeah, that's why I always compare them. But yeah, I do think this is interesting if Asta genuinely did mean like, because I don't want Asta to be the typical Weekly Shonen Jump character who's just ignorant to feelings of attraction and infatuation. Let's not have that happen, please. Let this not be. So I hope Asta genuinely does have feelings for Noelle, and I do hope this does get explored in the later chapters, in the later arc in this series, and that'll be pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked to see what's going to happen. But aside from that, there's not much else to talk about actually. But I did love this chapter, and I thought it was kind of funny. I think his name's Kyoto. He was basically dancing for Noelle. He was just like, I dedicate this dance for you. She weren't even looking. So that was kind of hilarious. And if you see all the panels, like when they're doing all the activities, Noelle's just looking at Asta. So that was kind of hilarious to see. But either way, this chapter was pretty cool. I cannot wait for what's going to happen next week, obviously, with Captain of the Blue Rose. Maybe she sees Yami as well. So guys, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below what you thought about this chapter. If you like anything that I had to say, please drop a like. That will be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next week for that greatness. That is Black Clover Chapter 104. So remember, Sam guys, peace out and goodbye.